This week's episode is brought to you by Watchtower Defense.
Jarrod Grove, welcome to the Guns and Ammo Buzz podcast. You're the Senior Product Marketing Manager for Caldwell, part of American Outdoor Brands. I want to kick this off, though, with a huge congratulations. The 2025 Guns and Ammo of the Year Awards, Innovation of the Year for the Caldwell Claycopter. I just want to say it swept the voting process. Just like everyone has just been more than impressed by the Caldwell Claycopter. Talk to us a bit about the Claycopter. Where'd that come from? What did the development process look like? It's for people that have not tried it. It's got people excited about shotgun shooting again. Incredible product.
Well, obviously, thanks for having me on, and thanks for the award, man. It means a lot to get an innovation award, I think, because you go against a lot of other products, not just a single category. So that's a lot. And
yes,
where it came from was just a lot of people here at AOB have we're very passionate and very involved in our industry, and I grew up shooting shotguns and have shot shotguns most of my life through college, and kind of got into this position through an interest in shooting sports and specifically shotguns. And clay pigeons have been the only target that we've ever shot for a long time. It's been the standard target, knowing that there have been offshoots of like Helix and ZZ Bird and all that, but those weren't really accessible to a consumer market.
And that accessibility, I think that was a huge factor for innovation, right? Like the Claycopter, you can go to major retail stores. Not only can you buy the target thrower itself, but you can get the 50 packs of the targets, as well. Like this is something that you don't have to special order from a specific website. You can walk in if you're getting groceries at a big box retailer, just a general, outdoor retail stores, if you're looking for ammo, and then there's going to be the targets there. And the accessibility, I think, was a huge factor in the innovation.
Yeah. And like I say, I knew we wanted the target. We wanted a different target. The spinning prop targets were really fun. They're very challenging. They had a lot, but again, from the beginning, kind of laying out with the team, we knew that what success looked like was getting it adopted at a retailer, big box stores where you could walk in and buy the consumable targets. Because if you have a launcher, that's great. If you can't replace the consumable targets, it's going to be a failure. And then getting it at a price point where it made sense, that somebody could afford to go and actually shoot them. This Helix
absolutely
is quite expensive.
Yeah. And the thrower itself, you got that initial cost for the thrower, but then that's good indefinitely. And then, I was impressed, like I said, the targets themselves, yeah, they're a bit more expensive than your typical, clay pigeon target that you'd get, but it's a specialty target, right? This is not, this is, as mass production takes over, I hope that we'll see prices come down over time, but the fact that it's available in stores, and it's a specialty target, it only works with the Caldwell Claycopter, but the price is still not unbearable. It is reasonable to go shoot, and 50 targets last longer than you think. So one of my big takeaways going out in the field, gosh, just eerily similar to how they fly like a dove, right? And so we should probably back up a little bit. The Caldwell Claycopter, it's a it's a target thrower, right? You've got this spinning disc design. The target, the thrower spins up, and then it launches the target out, and it's handheld. It's really cool, right? This is not a typical. You've got to carry it out, set it up. You pull it out of your trunk of your car, or whatever, and it's ready to go. And so, what I found was so practical about it is not only it was really fun, but gosh, getting tuned up for a dove hunt, so I used it. Went out and, I think the average number of shells that you need to kill a dove in the United States is I think it's 2 boxes of shells, for one dove is kind of don't quote me on that, but it's something ridiculous, right? But now imagine, people just go out, it's dove season, but now you can get tuned up a couple days before and practice shooting at targets that fly the way doves fly. And the thrower can stand in any position. You can, it was so cool. to have the person throwing the target like stand behind me, and there's like a dove coming from behind me over my head, and and like you don't know which way they're going to throw it, and so it's a true reaction, getting tuned up for a dove hunt, like I said. So that's probably one of the coolest features, but it's just fun too.
Yeah, the launch is really cool. We get a lot of comments on how portable it is, like we mentioned. We even like obviously just have one in the truck now, being the marketing guy for golf. And
Right.
we had a dove hunt that wasn't going. The doves didn't get the memo that it was dove day, dove season. So just having
Well,
shots of clay
it's hunting.
copters and stuff. We had
Yeah.
everything except for something to shoot at. So it's great for that. It's great for practicing. The flight is really cool too. Like I love shooting doves because of
Hmm.
the way they make quick changes in flight, and these with a little bit of wind, as you've experienced, they will test the limits. Like
They,
they move right up.
they dip, they duck, they dive. Yeah, it's like I said,
Yeah, it's a
eerily
very
similar.
dynamic flight, if you will, of instead of just a straight line, nice arch. Um, so the design, the prop design allows it to do some really cool tricks like that.
So tell me about the development process. Like what, start to finish, like how long does it take to make a product like this, from inception idea to it is in the store? And then what were some of like the major hurdles? Like I'm just curious, like, you guys, you have some incredible engineers designing these products. What were some of the hurdles that they run into getting this product where it is
Well,
today?
I'd say from concept, we need to make something new, um, to full built product, probably about, I would say about a year and a half. Because it takes
Okay.
about a year of R&D. I mean, and keep in mind on this product, we kind of fast laned it, and put some extra resources on it because we had a lot of faith early on of how the adoption would be on this product, and the success we thought we'd see with it. So we did want to get it into the market in the next year, for us, for the way our retailers load in. Usually, your big box retailers load in your June, July. So we knew from shot when we would announce it, we had a few months to produce and deliver. So,
Right.
um, so in about 13 months of, hey, here's a product idea, to here's final samples, hurdles in there. Oh man, on some that's
Yeah.
this different. This was a big problem.
The
Figuring
target
out what to
itself.
make that out of that's biodegradable and non-toxic. Um, so we
Right.
found that, but also would hold up to 15,000 plus RPM acceleration and then break when it's shot with a shotgun.
Oh, I see. So it's got to be strong enough to withstand acceleration, but then if it's too strong,
Yep.
it's not breaking on the, and that's something I also like about it, just to call out, like, when you break it, right? You look at the target, it almost looks hollow. Like there, it's like a, what do you want to call it? Skeletonized design almost, right? It's a circular target, it spins, but when you see it in the air, like it looks like a full target because it's spinning. And when it breaks clean. Like even if you chip it, right? Like you clearly break, especially when you chip it, because then it starts flying erratically. But so there's a sweet spot there. It's got to be strong enough to withstand acceleration, but not so strong that shot
Yeah, you
doesn't
want
break
it
it.
to break down with moisture and UV, but you don't want it to break down, you know, in storage, um,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So going through that was an interesting thing. And then with the launcher itself, um, and I'm a marketing guy. I'm not a scientist at all. And listening, like I get kind of the physical concepts of spinning an electric motor and it needs power, but then the electrical engineering team taking and going from, oh hey, we're only going to get 100 launches per battery charge, and oh man, that's not enough, to them
Yeah.
just changing stuff with the circuitry and the firmware on it to triple it and be like, well, now we get 300 launches per charge, and we kept the same motor, we kept the same battery, we're hitting the same speed, and it's all just stuff like that just blows my mind how they do that stuff. But we have a really good team that was able to pull that off. And then bringing it, I think our last challenge, or one of the last hurdles before getting it into retail, was going through all the certifications on a new target. And so the consumer
Okay.
understood that,
What?
yes, this has been independently certified, um, you know, to be a non-toxic and biodegradable and all, and green leaf certification, and going through and sending it to those labs, and then getting retailers, some of the big box retailers, I mean, they do their due diligence. They don't want to be liable for selling a product that them had
Right.
any kind of risk, and we wouldn't want to either. We're going through the
Yeah.
certifications for like California and some markets that have a little more stringent, um, and then international markets and getting them internationally certified to sell uh, into those markets. So going through all that and proving, showing, hey, here's what they're made out of, and then going through the biodegradability test. And what you can say and not say on that. This is the one of the first products I think we've had that is meant to be like you shoot it and leave it behind. Uh, I can't think of anything
Right.
else that we make that's like that. So to make sure that when you're doing your marketing from a marketing side, learning about what greenwashing is, and how deceptive that can be, and it's really opened my eyes to, yeah, eco-friendly and more eco-friendly, and all that, and like, well,
Yeah. It's very
some stuff.
interesting. Who's the sort of? I'll go one
I
more
just
time,
say
boss. What was
we
that?
have to have the science before we put that claim on a package. The science and the research to back the claim, so that we wouldn't open ourselves up to any kind of liability of, like, they are as we represent.
Right. That's something I had not considered at all with this product. To be certified as a target. Honestly, I didn't cross my mind one bit. Who are the certifying bodies for something like this? Is there, and then like what is the category? Like what is that let's get into that process a bit more. That's fascinating. Like, and how are they testing things to like, do they have testing procedures? Like what does that process look
Yeah.
like
So
exactly?
there's and again, handled by a different group of really smart guys here, but uh, I
Of
do know
course.
that the Greenleaf is a company called Initech. It's an independent lab, and you send them the product and the formulations, and they will certify it for the Greenleaf seal. And then you have toxic panels, toxicity panels, and stuff that are in independent lab tests. Biodegradability. This is something else I learned. If something is biodegradable, that means that a microorganism has to be able to, uh,
Oh, okay. Like
yeah, so
bacteria
little
and
microorganisms will uh, dissolve it. This being mostly plant starches with some mineral weight, mineral added for weight, is very biodegradable, as we is what we found out. Uh, you know,
okay.
Limestone and stuff is not as much. Like, it's a mineral that's just going to kind of be there. It's not toxic. Um,
Yeah.
so a regular clay target isn't toxic in any kind of sense like that. There's no tar pitch in them anymore. That's an old thing, but
Right.
they stay around for a long time. Like limestone's made to, like, if it dissolved easily, we wouldn't be using it for driveways and roadways. So it does kind
Exactly.
of, but that means it's going to be there for a while. So these actually do dissolve down, and microorganisms do actually physically break these things down. So that was
How long does it take, give or take, for the one of those to like I can't see it anymore. It's barely visible. Ballpark. What does
hitting
that
it,
timeline look like?
and how big the pieces have been broken into. But some are anywhere as short as like 4 months up to like a year uh, gone.
Okay.
If you hit it and it's little pieces and it has decent moisture and decent, for the microorganisms to really thrive. Yeah, like in the lab test, the like ideal is like a couple months, and then you haven't, if you're in your different environments.
So you can shoot these over a lake, shoot them like, if you're shooting, if they fall into your lake, it's not going to
Yeah,
harm the ecosystem of your fish in your
yeah,
personal lake or whatnot. So truly you can take these anywhere. And I guess lead shot's kind of a factor, but, maybe you're
yeah,
shooting steel, or if you feel like shooting steel at these is a pretty expensive, process. But I suppose if you wanted to be ultra
yeah.
cautious, you could.
You keep-
Um, Fine over lakes, fine over pretty much any
yeah, this
habitat
won't
then.
kill any wildlife or plant life. It's non-toxic. So, uh, and like I say, it's a plant starch based material with some mineral. Um, you get into plastics and all that. That's not. It's not. It appears to be plastic. It's not a plastic, in the sense. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, like your shotgun wad would be plastic. That's more of a concern than like that.
Your target the target
Yeah.
itself.
Um,
Well, let's talk use case of it a little bit more. So, like one of our takeaways in testing the Claycopter was that we said the phrase, it's as much fun to be the thrower as the person shooting, right? Because you can get so many different angles. You can kind of, if you play it right, you can run them against the ground like rabbits. It's a little tricky, but if you play it just right, you can kind of get them on that low against the ground there. It feels like you're shooting rabbit targets, like in a sporting clays station. What are have you guys come up with any games yet? Have you guys come up with any special challenges? What are I'm sure you guys have had some fun in testing. I mean, talk about dream job as being let's what am I doing for work today? Well, we're going to go out and shoot targets all day to see if this thing works, right? Like, I'm sure you've come up with something. Tell me about what are takeaways from your
it
testing
is very
process?
much fun to launch it
Yeah,
compared to any other launcher because it does become a game in itself of you versus the shooter.
that's it. Yeah, it's
Let's
you
see,
versus the
to
shooter.
test their skill. Um, the interesting thing that I think the funnest thing that we've done is with is the distance it'll throw. It'll go twice the distance of a normal throw, like 100 yards.
Right.
So you can get somebody at a pretty good distance away and launch these things at some really cool angles to where, and the target's really thin. So as it comes in, you don't
Yep.
see it until it's like past you,
It'll
and
turn, and you can all of a sudden
the
there's your
perspective
window.
sees different. And so trying to figure out hitting that target can be really challenging. And so from somebody that shot a lot of sporting plays and stuff like that, that's always looking for just something different and another. It's like it's you hear it launch, you don't know where it's at, and then all of a sudden when it turns and you get the right angle on it, it just appears and it's going fast. The reaction time to
Yeah.
hit it is very cool. It's but I will say, like, don't be scared about if you're a new shooter, like it's adjustable to where you can turn the speed way down. There's two
Right.
different size targets. This is the 110 millimeter. We make a small one that's 90 millimeters, slightly smaller than that.
Yep.
And with the 110s turned all the way down, it kind of just underhand lobs them up in the air. You just have this big orange floating orb that you can blast out of the sky. And so with new shooters, you can really build up their confidence. They're not. It's never fun to just sit there and miss all day long, especially a new shooter.
Yep.
Get that confidence built up. You can turn it down, and then you can just kind of crank the speed up depending on skill. But help
Plus,
lets you do some
you can
wild stuff.
you can throw one or two targets at a time, right? If you got a brand new person, that's never shot a shotgun before, throw one target slow. Okay, you're learning how to move the gun, right? You're learning how aiming with a shotgun is not aiming with a rifle or pistol. If you try to aim it down the sights, lining up the sights on the target like you would a rifle, you're going to start missing. And so, teaching people that, hey, the target's moving, you've got to keep your barrel in front of the target. You've got to keep your eyes locked on the target. It's such a cool way to teach new shooters. And then you introduce more speed. Then you introduce doubles, and you can throw true pairs with that. And that's cool. Something. So my home sporting clays range, kind of what we've done is like we've made impromptu stations. So we have, I think it's like a 12 station course, 100 bird course. What's like, what, we're just going to make an impromptu station in between 6 and 7. We've got a little gap where they'll pop up between some trees, and like, you know it's cool because it's so portable. You can modify, you've got your typical sporting clays, fixed stations. Well, guess what? Now we can make sporting clays even more interesting by, guess what? Now it's a 13 station course. We're adding a Claycopter section, right? So we've experimented with that. And it's so much. I mean, there's no setup, right? Like your sporting clay station, getting your targets that they're trying to get them to throw so consistently. You just adjust the angle with your hands and you're in business. And that's like I said, talk about, it's as fun to shoot as the thrower as it is to be the person shooting the shotgun.
Some things are worth building right here at home. Watchtower Defense, founded by veterans who've worn the flag and understand what it means to defend it. Every firearm we make is 100% American-made, crafted with pride, purpose, and a promise that lasts a lifetime. Because this isn't just business, it's heritage. Watchtower Defense, a new generation of American firearms. Built here, built strong, guaranteed for life.
We've had a really good time shooting these on the range. Walk me through your experience so far.
All guns, all the time.
A pistol's only as good as the trigger. This has a good one.
You can't learn everything you need to know at the gun counter with one rack of the slide or one pull of an unloaded firearm.
You got to do the slap.
If you're interested in firearms, don't miss this one.
Guns and Ammo TV. Watch now on Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel, or My Outdoor TV.
My gut says this is, merely stage one of a Claycopter line. Can we talk about it all? Like, what does the roadmap look like? Is there any expansion potential for the Claycopter? And of course, I understand you got to play some cards close to your chest sometimes. But what can you give us any sneak peeks at all?
The timing of this could be better, Jack, because we have shown to the buyers. So we have released it from quarantine here, what products we're coming out with for 2026. I can't show you pictures, but I can give you some descriptions.
Imagination can take over. I'm excited.
The first thing is a different target, like that is a 110, but with a little bit different blade design that maximizes the acceleration, makes them go a little bit faster, accelerates out of the gun a little faster. We're going
faster target. So like these things are like at the full speed, these things cook, and you're telling me you've got faster targets.
Increase the velocity about 15-20%, depending on where they're at in their flight pattern. But then also they're a little bit lighter. That's another part of why they're faster. So the makes them move better. They're more wind reactive. So those will be coming out. We're coming out with a all solid black target. So you'll have a black target option.
What's the advantage of a black versus the orange target? Like, what is that a training advantage, or what do we? What's black versus orange?
So
what do we get?
In sporting plays, you often shoot both orange and black targets, and they can be used for. Black targets can be an advantage or disadvantage. On a bright white sky, they stick out pretty good. They're pretty high contrast target. If you put them down with a like tree line back or fire them through in a wooded course, they're lower contrast, a little bit harder to detect and track. So, for people looking to change up that challenge with that. And then we've had some requests for anti-drone training with them.
Really?
It's
okay.
a huge thing from the beginning. It kind of surprised me how much, which is the fast things and changing thing for the LE mill side of stuff. But Caldwell's a consumer brand, so that wasn't why we developed the product.
So we might have a Caldwell law enforcement division here in the next couple years. Is that on the radar even?
Dude, you're talking to marketing guy. No. I know that we've been using it, so it was a thing where I was like, well, we can make a black target for the consumer market, something different, something fun. We'll call it a stealth drone target and let it be what it is. It's fun. It's different.
Is that realistic, you think, to shoot down, like, let's, even law enforcement, right? Like, let's say they've got to protect a crime scene. You've got a bunch of drones coming in trying to, they could contaminate a crime scene. Is that realistic to shoot down drones with a shotgun? Is that pretty feasible, you think?
They're shooting them down. I have seen our Claycopters being used for anti-drone training by like, and get requests uh, for, for the top uh, military, U.S. military, like it's very much a real thing. The limitation right now is our launcher is fires away from the shooter. But I've had
Gotcha.
videos
Okay.
of them shooting them down with shotguns, even a minigun.
People are shooting miniguns. Do you got? Please tell me you've got a video of a minigun shooting the
In February, we're
Claycopters.
going to do more with the new products I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh! Can I get an invite? Like, I would love to shoot miniguns at Claycopters. That's just too much fun. That's the my brain's about to explode from miniguns are fun enough, but you give me a moving target as well to shoot with one of those. Holy cow! That would be interesting.
So then also on the target side, we're coming out with one we're calling the Claycopter UFO, and they're a luminescent target. They charge with UV light and they glow bright green at night. So you can shoot the Claycopter at night.
Late evening, so everyone's at the trap range. It's starting to get dark. I can't see my trap thrower as well. Well, hey, we're still having fun. Let's break out the glow in the dark targets. That makes
they explode like fireworks. It's out because you see
cool.
all the bits are charged and glowing. So what you don't see when you hit a Claycopter is how far the target itself comes apart, and you see it with a UFO glowing target. So we did those 3 targets. We have a new launcher coming out that's a handheld launcher that uses a pull cord like a lawnmower, a weed eater, or whatever. The idea there was to get a launcher that's sub $100 range retail.
Okay.
And so that people that want to try Claycopters but don't want to commit to the 220 or whatever it is for the battery powered one, well, one's a little more lower entry level requirement there. You don't have to commit $220 or $100.
And it throws the same targets, right? Throws the same targets as the
out of them really easy. It's holds 1 or 2, throws all the Claycopter targets. So you can do everything the battery one does, other than you lose a little bit of range and you have to manually pull cord to launch. So really excited about that. And then the minute we showed Claycopter, keep in mind, like these products, before we even announced Claycopter last year, we were starting on these.
Right.
Is what we're calling a surface to air, and it is a thrower that sits on the ground and holds 50 targets in a stack of 50 Claycopters. It is remote control launch. It has a Bluetooth app that you can launch it from 100 yards. Throws singles or pairs, has built-in UV lights to charge the UFO targets. And when you start, some of the military guys that I've sent product to see if it would meet the needs, that we're really excited with the Claycopter. Since we just released this for public a couple weeks ago, I've showed a couple of them, and they're really excited about. Now we can take the surface to air, set it up, have a target incoming, an attacking target. That's very realistic.
Let me wrap my mind around this. So you've got a thrower; it sits out on the ground. How far away can you place it? Like how you be close to use it, or get it could be
the
pretty far
Bluetooth
away
app
too.
will control them from 100 yards away. Yeah.
Really? So holy cow! So you can have a target incoming from 100 yards. That's wow. To watch it come towards you and shoot it, and there's nobody downrange to worry about impacting. So now you can get real training of targets coming at you now. Wow. Okay.
2 targets at a time. You can pair up to 10 throwers in the app at a time.
So you're telling me I can build my home sporting clays course. I can go home and build a sporting clays course anywhere I want at this point.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're telling me.
So I'm excited to see what these guys can do when we put 20 drone targets coming at them and see if they can take them down, because they're going pretty quick.
So drone swarm simulation then, like that's wow. Now that's we got to we need we know what we need to go out in the field. We need to test this ourselves, I think. And I'm like, what can one person do against? Gosh, I mean, your average. I guess you just need a high capacity shotgun, and then you got me thinking here, Jarrod. Like this is team. What does team dynamics look like? Do you have one guy shooting while the other one reloads? Do you have you got my brain moving here, Jarrod. I think we need to go out in the field and do some strategic. I'm curious what the law enforcement's going to come up with too. I see really team dynamic training here. You get reloaders and shooters. Is it feasible to fight off a drone swarm with shotguns? Like that's my big question. Is like, is this even realistic? And now you've got a means of affordably, because you just sure we can go buy a bunch of drones, but that's going to get expensive fast. Now we've got affordable targets that you can throw us, and let's see if it's even realistic to shoot down a swarm of drones. Like that's, man, that's. I think you're right. I think you're onto something, Jarrod. I think you might be having something figured out here.
And then just from the consumer side, man, I've been shooting with some of them and getting 4 or 5 machines set up, and you build your own little 5-stand course on any farm.
Yeah,
they have wobble and oscillate. And it has a huge range of like.
So it's not just throws. It doesn't throw the same direction. It adjusts.
Randomize the speed. You can randomize, because unlike a traditional thrower that's using a spring, there's no randomizing the speed. The target speed's the same every time. This one, we can have the machine randomize your launch speed. You can have it obviously wobble and oscillate is a random angle and position, which an expensive electric clay thrower will do. There's no affordable electric clay throwers.
Yeah, I think you think of like your pat traps that are. Yeah, those are a couple $1,000
to put a wobble and oscillating clay thrower. So the surface to air at the $500-$600 range will be with the battery and everything. It'll be really cool, and it's 10 pounds. So again, it's portable, and you can go set it up. So we're really excited about that. We'll have it at SHOT Show. We expect it to be on the market in April or May of next year, 26, along with all the other thrower and the other targets. So we really we saw huge success. The consumer feedback was great on the original Claycopter. People were excited. I knew in my heart that people were going to be excited about it. Because I just saw the full potential. I was like, it was one of those things. I've developed some great products over the years and knew like the reach that they were going to be. And I was telling our CEO and everybody from there, I said, this is going to be big. The Claycopter will be big. It will be a brand of defining product as much as our lead sleds were. That really put Caldwell on the map. I said, Claycopter's the next guys. Like, I got us into the shotgun market with the Claymore. I said, we make all these accessories as a brand for rifle shooters mostly and some handgun shooters. Like, we've ignored shotgun shooting for whatever, not ignored it, but we just hadn't gotten into it, and really pressing them with. I didn't want to get into it. I said, we can't go into that market just doing what everybody else has done. Like, that won't work. We need to bring some innovation, and we started with traditional clay throwers, and we innovated them. We made them not use car batteries and all that stuff.
Yes.
And added an electric thrower with a Bluetooth app that uses a lithium battery pack, the same as the Claycopter. Some really cool stuff there. Some innovation. I was like, but the bigger innovation was changing the whole target, and doing that, and like say, and then running with that, and them giving us full support to say, absolutely, let's put the product development resources behind it and understand that we need to strike fast. Like I say, we're launching 3 targets, 2 launchers, and a couple accessories for the Claycopters, all in 1 year. The next year, we have all these new products for this thing that didn't exist at this time last year.
I think your timing's perfect because and tell me what you see from your side of the of things as well. But the last 10 years, ARs have kind of been the dominant product in many ways. People been, and I love my ARs, my AR-15 rifles. They're outstanding. I love building them. We had the last 10 years, everyone was all about building the AR-15s, super customizations, and then I think we've reached a point though where you know it's a practical tool. We need them for basic home defense, but and we go out and we train with them. It's important to train, but now we've reached a point where it's like, well, what can we do to have fun? And that's what shotguns are all about to me, right? Shotguns, of course, practical tools. Your sporting shotguns, I should clarify, right? Trap, skeet, sporting clays, like that's for fun. And there's some practical applications for training for bird hunts and et cetera. But if I want to go have fun shooting, I go out and I go pick out a shotgun. And now you've got a line of products that is for fun. And it's wild to hear that there's practical applications for drone defense. Like that never crossed my mind. But hey, that's part of the process, right? And so timing wise, I think we as sporting shooters out there are looking for something fun to do. And because we've got our AR-15s, we enjoy them, but let's go do something different now. And so that's what shotguns are for. And so Caldwell, pretty cool. I've always thought of you guys as like a rifle brand, right? I think of the lead sleds. Very cool when the steel targets came out a couple of years ago. But now Caldwell's a shotgun brand, which is because I've seen like the foot stomp throwers, wildly practical. I think about training people to shoot for the first time, and then now you've got the Claycopter line and all the stuff to come. What a cool time to be getting into the shotgun sports. Because 10 years ago, everyone was still about AR-15s, but now I think people are looking for something different. This is a reinvigoration of the shotgun shooting sports, and so what a cool product line to be a part of that.
Like I say, I would love for people to think of Caldwell as a shotgun brand. I would not be upset whatsoever if that is what happens. And I'm with you. Like I think that it comes in like trends, and AR was a big trend and continues to be. It's America's rifle. That's what they stand for.
Right.
And it's great, but I think a lot of people have them and they've done it, and then they're done that, and let's go back to shooting some. And there's some pretty wild shotguns out on the market now that are kind of merging those two together. An AR shotgun.
The competition game, right? Like that's and so like making games of this. And I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't a little betting man from time to time. And so you want to have some fun, put a little bit of money on. We talked about it's the thrower versus the shooter, right? And the game of it is can the thrower within reasonable kind of boundaries, right? Throw a target in such a way that the shooter can't hit the targets, and then you put $5 on that, and you're having some real fun on there. Or someone's buying the on the way home, someone's buying the beer on the way home. Loser's got to buy, right? It's a lot of fun, and gosh, it's just exciting. So the Claycopter line, I'm very excited to see where that goes. I also want to take this opportunity. What else is Caldwell working on? So you guys, you're becoming a shotgun brand, but obviously you're very established with rifles and pistol shooting for accessories, the accessory market. What else are you guys working on?
We're always going to stick and defend our core. This year we redid all of our lead sled shooting rests, the rifle rests that take all the recoil out. Really what built the brand. We're on our 4th generation of that. It's really cool. We updated the current 3 models and launched a new one. We're continuing to focus on that, and we will have new rests at SHOT Show in our other line. A couple new rests, a couple new bipods, kind of filling gaps in our bipod segment. AR-500 steel, as you mentioned, that was when I started several years ago now, 7, 8 years ago. Those are adding up fast. I was new, and we just got into it, and to build that up from a nothing to a pretty pretty full offering now, 20 something targets, everything from plates, just your gong targets, up to dueling trees and plate racks and long range rifle gong kits and the flashbang, the little flashing hit indicator.
Yeah, that thing's pretty sweet. That huge. If you're shooting beyond 600 yards, put one of those on steel. Just especially if you're shooting, light for caliber loads or just a small caliber, bullet. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure I hit that. You get real time confirmation, and that those are out, the flashbangs, right? Those are outstanding for shooting beyond 600 yards, in my experience.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that was stuff like that. We still want to look and fill the consumer gaps. We're listening to the consumers of what they're looking for, what they're doing, to kind of guide that. Like I say, if we have an existing product that's super popular, we love to take the consumer feedback. I read all sorts of comments on all sorts of stuff to help the product development team, and I'm marketing, but I also build the product roadmap, and that's help guide that of what products we're coming to market with, and and honestly, that's what's helped with the Claycopter be super successful, because laid out a bunch of ideas before the launch of the Claycopter, and then after launch of the Claycopter, you start running ads on social media, and everybody can get in there and leave comments, which is good. And then go through the bad ones that are just there to be on the internet,
the trolls. Yep.
But there's a lot of good, solid consumer feedback about them. And it may not be the most positive stuff. They're like, "Oh man, that's really expensive." Yeah, okay. So that just tells me that I need to address, like, hey, let's lower the requirement to entry into this, and like I already kind of had that idea, and it just solidified. Yes, this is the right answer. And then people are like, "Man, I wish you would do all this more advanced stuff." Right? Okay, well, we need to make one that's next tier up too, and all that stuff, and it looks like a drone, and yada yada. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, we're gonna pull all these levers at once. Which
there you go.
Which was interesting, because that was a 3-year or so plan in my head originally, and between consumer demand and our retailer demand, they were doing it all right now.
Well, you guys have, Caldwell has done a great job with thumb on the pulse of the market. Like, I think, you're not going to make something if people aren't interested. And what I'm seeing is a interest in shotguns again, right? The demand, people are hungry for something fun to go do shooting. Like, I don't want to just go shoot paper anymore. I want to go shoot dynamic targets. I want to shoot steel. I want to shoot moving targets. And that's what I'm seeing. So again, Jarrod, thank you so much for coming on to the Guns and Ammo podcast. Congratulations again, 2025 Innovation of the Year for the Caldwell Claycopter. Very excited to see what you guys have next, and I think let's please invite me for the minigun shoot. I will pay my own way if I have to, and gosh, exciting stuff. So thanks again for coming on to the show, and congrats again, 2025 Innovation of the Year.
Thank you so much, Jack.